Hi, I'm Mitch Gallagher from Sweetwater, and we are joined by some very special guests who came a long way to be with us today. Yeah. This is Jano and Daniel from DSM Humboldt, all the way from Santiago, Chile.
Yeah,
great to have you here.
Mitch. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Yeah, is this your first time at Sweetwater?
Yeah, it's the first time in Sweetwater.
And also the first time in Indiana.
In Indiana.
Indiana, right?
And for me, the first time in Chicago.
Wow, so that's quite a trip. We're grateful you made the trip up here to be with us and to share some time to tell us about these incredible amplifier emulators and products that you guys are working on.
Thank you.
So let's start by let me ask you about where the company came from. How did you get started working in this industry and working on these products?
We came from a small community of pedal builders, probably more related to the DIY scene in Chile around 15 years ago.
2008, 2005, around that.
Daniel was like a guru for us, for people. Even in that community, Douglas Castro from Douglas
came
was
from
involved
here,
because
from that place.
his main origin is from Chile. So we met around 15 years ago, but we never planned to start a company together.
Yeah, because I'm an industrial engineer, so I got my regular job and corporate job. So at what point I just started to get fed up with the style of life. And so I decided just go with it because I loved making pedals. That was the passion in my life. That was the thing that I wanted to do since I was in school.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't know everything about electronics, and I learned all along the college, and after college, always studying schematics and stuff. So it got to a point like life pushes you.
Right.
Everything starts align, and they said, okay, this, now or never. So I started DSM Noisemaker at that point. It's like 2014. I started DSM Noisemaker, really small, just building stuff at home with whatever resources I had.
Right.
And we always kept in touch with Jano. We were good friends, but we never. He had his own brand. Maybe you can talk about your brand.
Yeah. I started with Humboldt pedals in 2015, trying to do something different. I used to pack the electronics into wood enclosures. So, it didn't work if you want to go massive. But give us some noticeability in Japan and some other countries. So we'll start to share more in deep, like, how are you doing to explore this?
To explore the woods. Yeah, it has its difficulties.
So we start to get involved in a very natural and organic way. So we got together and we could do something together. So we started working with some government funded for enterprises, entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So we started working together, each one on his own brand. So we went to NAMM. That was 2018, I think.
Yeah.
We
Summer
went
NAMM in
to
Nashville.
the Summer NAMM in Nashville with that project. So we made, of course, some contacts and the nice experience of being in Nashville. I love Nashville and the NAMM. Jano plays a church. Worship. He's a very skilled player and very experienced one. And he used to use my products, but he has his own very good ideas to what to do with that. So we said, hey, let's do something together and make one brand. We complement each other very, 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 very well. We always make the analogy like I'm the Wozniak. He's the Jobs. He's very good at. He has very good vision and directive skills, and he's organized. And I'm just a circuit junkie, So he had some great ideas, and I was able to implement it. And we loved the result, and said we had something here. So we founded DSM and Humboldt.
Right. Yeah. Brought the two together. That's awesome. Yeah. So you're a player. Are you also a player? Do you play guitar?
Yeah, I play guitars.
This guy got chops, man.
I got chops. Nah, I'm rusty. But I just
his skill.
I'm crazy for the guitar. Guitar. Yeah. But I'm obsessed with guitar tone. It's I used to play a lot at school and in college. I would play pops and on the bar circuit, and that helped me a lot to develop all the, because I knew the sounds that I wanted,
Right.
and then I learned the tools to get there.
Right. Nice.
By doing my own thing.
Right.
We have
right.
very different playing styles, but
Yeah.
we try to complement the best as possible in every single way in the company, the way we made the business,
Yeah.
the way we implement this into the designs, and
Even
you know,
musically, we
influence-
complement because
Yes.
I don't play anything that he plays.
Uh huh. Right.
I'm more a kind of shredder wannabe,
Right.
like more of a not metalhead, but classic rock and hard rock fan.
But we encounter ourselves with John Mayer.
Yeah, we are
Actually.
both fan of John Mayer, and we love his tone, and
Right.
yeah,
Oh, that's
it's the
great.
background music of The Office, you know.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Yeah. So, what led you then to the idea of the simplifier?
Oh, I want to get that. There was a NAMM show in 2019. Probably that show was called the show of the preamps, because JHS and New Neighbor show up some preamps, and at the other side, in the other hand, the people from GFI have the CAF seals, and Daniel have the OmniCAF sim. So, well, it's time to merge the preamp and the CAF sim into a one single unity, and we have to do it right now.
Yeah, right now.
We have to do it right now. So I just came back from that NAMM show. I speak to Daniel. Well, we have to do this. We have to do this, and we have to do this right now, because there's nothing doing something like this right now, because we're, or the way we are planning on to doing this with the XLR outputs and all that stuff. So we start working all that entire year for the simplifier. The simplifier was released in September 11th, 2019, and 1 month and a half later that Strymon released the Iridium. So
Right.
so probably we have still the chance of being something original, probably, if we release the thing after that.
After that will be different.
Yeah.
Right. Right. So, really, the idea then is to bring together the preamp, or the front end of basically an amplifier type of
Yeah,
an
yeah,
approach,
yeah.
and then the power amp side of it. Talk a little bit about that, and where you call it a 0-watt amplifier.
Yeah.
What does that mean, and how do the two sections of it work together?
We call it the 0-watt amplifier because that's what actually is. You know, the amplifier doesn't have to have a lot of power to go to move a speaker. I decided and studied all the classics amplifier, the schematics, and how they sound and how they work, and figure out a way to have the main characteristics, or the taste of each of one, with just moving some values and switches here and there.
Right.
So we were able to capture the core of those type, the American and the British and the AC styles, because in the core they are pretty similar. It's a tube amp topology. They are like humans.
Right.
We all have bones and flesh and lungs, and the power stage is one thing that was lacking in the market, to something that simulates the power stage, because
Yeah.
all
It's a key part.
amp in the box is just preamps.
Right.
And the power section of an amp is so important, because
Yes.
it modifies the whole way the frequency response behaves, the compression it has. So I added that part. So we developed a way to make it with the presence and the resonance control, like controlling the feedback and the way it behaves, like with the transformer and the speaker. And the cabinet emulation comes from the old design, very trusty and well received design of the OmniCAF sim.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you've got the complete signal path inside just that tiny little box.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
like you say, you were really on the movement's been developing, but so many players are looking for that silent amplifier
silent
solution,
amplifier.
the 0-watt. But what I know is different about yours is, first of all, the amount of control that you're offering there, and the extra functionality like you would find on an amplifier. Talk a little bit about that, how you see this as the centerpiece for a player's rig.
Based on my experience doing some touring and playing with the bands, when some more serious amplifier solutions show up, like the Kemper stuff like that, was like awesome, because I don't have to carry on an amp, but I still have that vintage vibe with the profiler, you know. But when we just realize that it's just one extra bag you have to pay for, so
Right.
we have to reduce it. We have to play something pretty serious into a pedal board to being the core. So it becomes from the need of the truly need of a musician, of a musician, or someone that used to play live, need to simplify its setup. So that's what the main reason we decide to do it. I don't know if that asks your question.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's much more of an analog approach here than in many of the other amp emulation solutions.
It's our way of doing things.
Yeah.
You know? We like the analog technology because also it's familiar and it's comfortable.
Right.
You know, in my case specifically, I love our products, of course, because I decided I love my products because it's comfortable. It's, you just plug it in, tweak to taste, and enjoy. And just one undertone, just what you see is what you get, really quick. I have some digital equipment, of course, but I'm never comfortable connecting the USB to the computer and downloading, and you have to upgrade the firmware and everything, and you get in it's like a rabbit hole, you know, of stuff, and you get this, and okay, I have 2,000 IRs. Which one is the good one? You know?
Right.
And you spend so much time scrolling, but with this thing is, okay, I like this tone, but I like more bite. Just a little flick of a switch. I like this tone, I like more tighter bottom end. Just flick it, another turn of the knob.
Always having in mind the guitarist that wants to keep their pedal board, you know. That's the main reason. Those analog and digital devices, but place it into a classic pedal board. So that's our kind. Looking for being the life of that kind of guitarist more comfortable. Not thinking about the digital people that will carry us on their own stuff. So that's the main reason we want to place this thing joining other third-party devices.
We work it really hard to make it pedalboard friendly.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
in the form factor, in the connection factor, and output and input impedance.
Sure.
And so it designs to be the heart of your pedal board. If you love your pedal board, you love your drives. And in the case of the Classic, we didn't put much drive on it, because probably you have a really nice drive you want to shine, to make it shine.
Sure.
If you put it on this already distorting amp, it will just muddy up everything. So that's what we took a lot of time to see what is the right amount of gain before starting to blurring your drive tones.
Right.
So that's why it has the headroom that it has.
Right.
And also all the connections and the form factor is really well laid out. So the pedal is looking at you, the output is looking like that. So it's really comfortable and compact to put it. It didn't need much space on your pedal board.
Right. I like that you've included XLR outs, though, because that allows you to interface very quickly with the professional system.
That was a must. It was like the first time it has to have XLRs.
Right, and it as a guitarist, when I look at it, it makes sense to me because you have an effects loop. You have the controls on the front panel, as you mentioned. It's very much just reach down and tweak it and get your tone dialed in. So congratulations on that. I think it's very successful from that regard of being the amplifier in your
being
system.
the amplifier. It's like my amplifier is just collecting dust in the corner. I haven't used it for years.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's a testament to it.
But was conceived from the point of view of the user. Always, with everything we do.
Right. So what is the difference then between the Classic and the DLX?
Oh, basically the DLX is a full stereo from input to output. So offer you a lot of more options to sculpt the tone. We also included a digital reverb. It's the only digital part, but it's change-sided, so won't affect the signal when you just scroll down.
Right.
And we try to offer the most capabilities that any guitarist should wanted to take advantage, because there was a lot of people asking for more options in the simplifier, saying, I used to come from a stereo delay or reverb, and I need 2 different amps. I just go and buy 2 simplifier. But
Right.
well, we can offer that in the Simplifier Deluxe, keeping a small footprint
Yep.
with very powerful options, and that's the main difference between both.
Right. Yeah, you pack so much into both of those, but this one, the DLX in particular, has, I mean, everything's in there. I mean,
So
there's
much in there.
which is great.
So much
It
in
allows
there.
you to set it up exactly the way that you like. You've expanded the brand, also
The brand.
the family, with a bass version now.
Yeah, the bass. Well, the bass version is the second one we did.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's picking up. It's picking up really well, because it's so the same concept of the simplifier, but for bass players. That basically for both products we sat down and start imagining all the possibilities.
Right.
A musician should be bound, should be free to experiment with a lot of stuff. So for the bass station, we added our favorite bass preamp. It was based on an SVT,
Sure.
which is very versatile with its active EQ and everything, and we made everything so blendable.
Yeah.
You know, you can blend the parallel. You have a parallel signal going parallel with the preamp, and you can blend both. And each line has its own effects loop, and that's where you can go crazy with the options.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That you can put like a fuzz in your low end and a chorus in your high end, and just start experimenting, because we know but bass players love having parallel processing. Not just for compression, just for
So
expansion.
it's considered more like a platform for your creativity.
Right.
Yeah.
Try to give all the options so every musician can sculpt the tone, respecting their own past gear or the gear they love. So we try to not to affect so much of the tone. In this case, in the bass station, we're offering a lot of options, so he can even blend a little bit their most preferred bass. And it's up
You
to the
can
musician.
even blend the caps in. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Nice.
But you can. You
Yeah.
can blend in the caps in, so you can have, I don't know, one side. One thing that I love about this one, the bass station, is that you can separate your low end, super low end, under 100 hertz,
Yeah.
and process it parallel.
Right.
So you can use your distortion on the other side and have your unaffected original dynamic low end
Still
on
have
the
that
other
bottom,
side.
that
You
solid
have
bottom
the
end.
kick
Yep.
and that boom,
Yeah.
and not sound that's scooped
Right.
or empty.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah.
that's one of
Fantastic.
the things that we thought about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. And there's also the silver linings.
Oh, the silver linings. I love it.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
love Silver Linings. Probably it's our most loved product up to date, even more than the simplifiers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And why is that?
One of our main philosophies is not to cloning, and it's not something related to being pretentious, because we are coming from for a far country in the south, so we got a lot of disadvantages when we wanted to deal with the main markets, So every products we try to bring have to be the best. We are obligated to that.
Yeah.
So with the silver linings, we just agreed, well, we're going to bring another overdrive to the world. It's crowded already. So
Right.
we have to do our best. And we feel so proud of it, because we think it's, for our opinion, and I know it's a near reference, but it's the best overdrive I've ever played, and we put it so much love and so much research and development. We buy a lot of stuff to compare. We try to get some partners the user are looking for, those different overdrive, and try to bring it here. So probably for us, we feel so proud of it that I
Yeah.
will speak more about some
Yeah,
of
it's
the
my-
technical specs, but
it's my
from
baby.
the heart is it's like a
It's
baby.
a
Yeah.
my baby. No, The thing is, this is the evolution of 20 years, almost 20 years of investigating how overdrive and compression and clipping works and the voicing and stuff. And I have designed about 15 different distortion and overdrive pedals. And of course, for me or my friends, or
Right.
and every time I learn something, and I learn something, and I learn something, and this is the state of the art of my technology.
Right.
Okay, I have my own way of doing things. I have, of course, there's not an infinite way to peel a cat, but it's my own way of how. Of course, Jano's input is really important on the design of it, because he knows what a live player wants
Right.
and needs. So we both devised this ultra flexible tool. But the thing is, whatever you plug it in whatever setting it is, it sounds premium. It sounds great.
Yeah.
It's
We try to
creamy,
achieve that.
and the touch sensitivity is really good. And personally, I'm a huge fan of Steve Ray Vaughan and Van Halen. And all the pedals I designed it has to go from SRV to Van Halen, or even heavier. Heavier. It has to do all that, because I'm lazy and and cheap, so I don't want to have 15 pedals to have that. I just want my one pedal that does everything, but everything in a good way.
Right.
Really good. It has to be good. So we took a lot of time in tweaking. It was very painstaking work of, the difference that just 1 nanofarad or the 1 kilo ohms makes in the final sound.
Yes.
Impacts.
Absolutely.
When you're dealing with this detail, this
Right.
level of detail, just a little tolerance can screw up your sound.
Yeah.
So
we also try not to bring a jack of all trades, master of none. We try to avoid that, taking a special care of the feeling, the compression, that all that things related to the feeling and the playability, and also the behavior and the interaction between. It's basically like you say a pedal punching an amp
yeah.
into a pedal enclosure.
That's the main concept,
Like that.
that you have amp in a box and you have overdrives. And say, why don't we have a pedal that can do both and is both? You have a pedal or a booster kicking in a already hot amp. So it's very interesting, because the gain drive, you can see that has this huge range from clean to super saturated, because when you move the gain, you are doing like 5 things at the same time.
Right.
Like changing the voicing, boosting the pedal, boosting the amp, changing the bandwidth. You have to adjust the bandwidth, because if not, you go floppy on the low
Yeah.
end,
Sure.
or too easy.
Yep.
So that part is really important on the design, and very unique. No other pedal has that.
Right.
Is able to control that many things
Yeah.
with a
Right.
single part.
Yeah.
And-
That's
and,
amazing.
And we love it. It's so flexible. As a preamp sounds completely amazing. You
Yeah,
plug it
it's
in
a
the
sound-
effects return of an
sound.
amp, and it kicks ass.
Right.
It sounds like a TÜV pre.
Right. That's awesome. I have to admit, I have not played the Silver Linings yet. I've used the simplifier, but now I got to check it out. You sold me.
You gotta do. If you if you
Well,
try
okay.
the distortion on the deluxe, you will love this one.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. I'm definitely going to check that out.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So the timing on releasing the products is kind of interesting, because obviously the pandemic hit right
Yeah.
about that same time that things were starting to happen. Did that affect how you brought the pedals out and the production process?
Oh, yes, for sure. And even before that, we have a major social crisis. At the point that the building where we're going to start to build the first simplifier, we lost that building because of the process and the violence every day. So we have to move. We have to take a place on loan. a space in a church,
Right.
And then we built
Yeah.
up the first simplifier, just three people there. And then we came to the NAMM show. We
Yeah,
have
we
some
can-
success, and we
Success,
say, okay, we have some success. We have to build up more units, and then the pandemic came.
Yeah.
And in Chile was pretty special because we had the longest quarantine in the world at the moment. We were under lockdown from March to September, but really
like strict lockdown.
strict
Yeah.
lockdown.
You need a permit to get out of your house.
Wow.
Yeah.
You have 2 permits per week to move in your car. So we have to take advantage of those 2 permits to go to where the other workers, their homes, and bringing the parts, taking the units. We all were testing in our
Testing
homes.
in our home.
Our
And you had
houses
to
were a
and
completely mess.
you have to
Wow.
manage the permit because you have only
Yeah.
2 per week.
Right.
And you have to choose. So you go buy food
Right. I was going to say,
or you
yeah.
go deliver pedals.
Groceries or
Yeah.
And at the same time, the demand became to increase.
uh-huh.
We
At the
never
same time.
expect that because, well, the musicians are home, so the simplifier was like bring it from heaven. You can practice at home silently. So the demand gets increased, and we have to deal with that.
Sure.
We get involved with our families, our wives, our children,
Yeah,
helping us
everyone.
to pack the things.
Practice
Wow.
things.
Wow, that's a team effort.
Yeah, team
Yeah.
effort.
Yeah.
Hanno did a great job there coordinating all the stuff because it was a logistic nightmare.
I can only
So-
imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wow. What a fantastic.
And at the
story.
same time, orders were like exponentially increasing each week, like chum chum chum. They say, oh,
Right.
this is growing really fast. So thanks God, the heavy lockdown ended around December. So
Yeah,
we got a
and-
new
and
office.
It was interesting because when we came back to the office in December of 2021,
Yeah.
we knew each other with workers for the company. Oh, I only see
But
you
I didn't.
by Zoom, but
Right.
never I've seen you in person.
meet in person, right?
Oh, so
that's
you are
crazy.
Carlos. Nice to meet you.
But we have a wonderful team, and I want to talk about that a little bit. They were with us since the first day. We are now 10 people at the office.
Yeah, we are
We're
now
so
10
thankful
people.
of any of them because
We are family.
We're family. Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's the environment in the company, and we're so thankful for being here because you have that vibe on
Right.
it. You're a huge company, but you can feel that familiar and feeling. So we're so pleasure and thankful of doing business with Sweetwater and Real Maya.
Well, thank you so much. Likewise, yeah, for us as well. That's fantastic. What a
Yeah,
great
thank
story.
you.
That's just
Thank you.
amazing that the team was able to pull together and make that all happen. So,
Yeah, it was tough. It's like they are achieving a milestone,
yeah,
and there's something happens.
yeah,
Yeah.
We remember when we get our biggest order, we said, "Now, I assure you, there's an earthquake coming, or an asteroid. Something's going to happen because every time we make a milestone, something
right,
happens."
Yeah, we used to have in the first batch a small sticker.
Yeah.
We built this pedal during the social crisis.
Yeah.
Then we update the one. We made this pedal during the COVID lockdown at home. Okay, what's next?
What's
Right,
next?
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks so much for coming in and telling us about the products and about the company and your history and the industry and things. It's really, really fascinating. We appreciate you traveling all the way from Santiago to see us.
Well, I appreciate to have invited us here.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a
Yeah.
pleasure to meet you. Thank you
Yeah,
so
me-
much. Thank you.
Thanks to meet you.
Daniel,
Thank you, Mitch.
Jano, I'm Mitch Gallagher from Sweetwater. Thank you for joining us today. Be sure to check these out. Incredible pedals, whether you need an amplifier, whether you need an overdrive, preamp, a whole centerpiece for your system. This is stuff you definitely want to check out. Thanks again.